Testing 1 2 1 2. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on? This is Ola coming to you live. My Empire Pro Studios. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry about that. Let me just make sure that audio, everything is working fine. All right, awesome. It looks like the audio is good to go. Welcome back to my Empire Pro Studios. Welcome back to Man of Prestige, actually. Some of you are brand new here, and I want to say welcome, congratulations to you. We don't just cover trending topics here. We also extract the actual real life and relationship lessons from them. And because these individuals that we talk about here, the celebrities and things like that, they are people you can relate with, but they're also people going through the same issues that we all go through at our good old regular people, right? So we touch on that. Today we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into the Korra Obidi and Justin Dean's story. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that story. All right. But let me just say this really quickly. For those of you that are brand new here and you found us through the other channel, my Man of Prestige Clips, I want to let you know that this is the main channel right here. We put the long form here. We just dump the clips, the shorter clips over there. So I want to encourage you to subscribe to both channels, okay? Because you get to see it as they come out right here. But you also, if you are more interested in watching the shorter clips over time, then then you have access to that as well over there. Uh, the good news is that it looks like things slow down here over the past since we created the clips channel. And let me just show you what I'm talking about really quickly before we get started with today's lesson, just so it can make sense to you. You can see my screen right now. Okay, this is our channel. Okay, And you can see that we have, let me just go back to the dashboard. We have 320. We're just getting started, by the way. So if you really like what I'm doing, please give it a thumbs up, hit the like button, share it with people. Because again, I'm not just talking about the gossip topics here. I'm extracting the lessons. And just so you understand context and where I'm coming from, I am a 15 years happily married man. So I have some context. I've gone through my own trials and tribulations. I've basically come out on the other side of it. I'm one of the lucky guys, right? I have a beautiful wife. I am also um I have beautiful children, right? So, and that's all by the grace of God, but there's some real life lessons that I learned along the journey, and that's all I'm trying to share here, right? And I For the purpose of making sure I can afford to keep coming back here, we're monetizing this whole process. Okay, just so you know, full transparency. I want to be able to afford coming back over and over, and then continue to, hopefully with your help, impact lives, right? So some of you again found me. I noticed in the past 48 hours, a lot of you found me through the Korra Obidi story, and we're going to be digging a little deeper into that. But I want you to be aware that we will be covering many other topics, and but they're all life and relationship lesson, and especially for men. Um, but young ladies of all different caliber, you can also learn from this stuff because at least you can know that you're not crazy in certain respect, or maybe you're crazy with certain certain expectations, right? So those are some of the things that I feel like we should definitely be covering. So on this main channel, we have 325, and then if you go look at the last, let me just show you in the last. If I switch to the clips channel right here, oh, let's see. In the last 48 hours alone, we gained over 100 subscribers over there. So yes, over here, all because of one video. There's this one particular video, which I don't. So you can see right there. We just started this channel like a few days ago, but this one video took off over 6,000 views right now. This one video of Korra Obidi, and I saw a lot of you guys comments, and I want to also talk about those comments. And but I really really appreciate every comment. So make sure you're always leaving comments as well. But again, in total right now, we I don't know how many subscribers. We have 325 on the main one, 129 here. What is that? I don't know, 450, something like that. I would have really preferred everything to be in one place because we can't really get monetized until we're at 1,000. But again, I'm not in a rush. I'm here for the long run. We're gonna keep doing this work together. So either way, I want you to go ahead and subscribe to both channels. The Man of Prestige. If you go to the homepage of each channel, you can link to each of the other channels. And don't forget, my wife and I have a channel called Lola and Ola. Let me show you. As a matter of fact, on the homepage here, we have a channel called Lola and Ola. You can see that on the homepage. We just chat over there, my wife and I. So if you want to link up over there as well, make sure you're subscribed to that channel. Okay. But yes, we're doing pretty fine, and I am happy to bring that to you and to let you know that I'm going to be here for the long run. And yes, today we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into Korra Obidi's story. There's some new updates, and let's just go ahead and give it a shot. Now, if you're a man and you don't understand your role, or you don't understand the energy you're supposed to bring into a relationship, right? If you don't, you will struggle. Let me be clear. If you're a man, you're the leader in the society that we live in right now, not 50 years ago, not 50 years from now. And you don't understand that you are responsible for bringing the masculine structure, precisely sowing it as a seed for the feminine energy to receive and reciprocate in folds, meaning multiply and reciprocate in folds. You will struggle. This is exactly what it will look like.
Hey! Wait! Hey! Wait! Hey! Wait! Yo! With me, nigga! Help me! What's wrong with you, nigga? Come on! Where my glasses? Get off of me before I drop your goofy ass again. Now beat that, bitch ass nigga. Pay for this shit. Hurry up. No, pay for that shit and hurry up before I drop your ass again. Touch me, then I'm gonna drop you. Stop video for it. Ain't help me. You got my key.
Nobody help you.
No,
help you.
Exactly. That's exactly what's gonna happen to you, right? Because again, the feminine energy, to be precise, it's not equivalent to female, by the way. All it does, literally doesn't give a shit about nothing. It receives what you bring, it multiplies it. And if you're not bringing nothing, then it's going to attempt to create structure, safety around itself, and it's just chaotic. It doesn't work out. Not in the generation that we're living in right now. Maybe some other day, maybe later on, maybe 50 years ago, I don't know. But you are responsible for sowing the seed of masculinity and sowing the seed of whatever you're requiring of a relationship. You're responsible for that. It's not an indictment. It's neither right nor wrong. It's actually a point of leverage that you can absolutely leverage in your favor. You may say, but so what if I find myself in a situation? Well, it's because of the way you've been moving precisely, right? And this is exactly what has been going on. This is what has been happening to what you may call it, Mr. Justin Dean. He may not be in a space of mental space where he can admit that right now, but that's okay. You and I can learn the lesson right now. Maybe after healing, he can still come back to it. Hopefully, by the grace of God, he can come back to it and learn the lessons on how to make a woman, not literally, okay, meaning influential in an influential way, make a woman submit, trust, and respect your masculine core. She doesn't get to decide that. You decide that, regardless of what you think, regardless of if you're aware of it or not. Is basically she's receiving what you bring and she's multiplying it and she's reciprocating it 100% of the time. The same is also true when you choose to be with a woman that you clearly see that there's no compatibility. If you stay in that situation, that's still your responsibility. You can't afford to not acknowledge that it's your responsibility. You can't afford to not look in the mirror and take full responsibility for your life as a man. And it's very, very important. Now, with that being said, there are exceptions, but we're not talking about the exceptions here. We're talking about the actual rule that plays out in most people's house. All right. So, with that being said, let's get started today. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right, welcome back.
Moving out with 2 kids.
We're talking about Korra Obidi. I really don't like using the baby's picture. Let me see if I can.
He's a good daddy.
Uh, let's see. Let me see if I can find another. I'll find another one for now. Let me just go ahead and show my face. I want to do a quick recap of what we're talking about. Okay, I think I have an idea of where we can go with this. All right, perfect. All right, so this is the person we're talking about right here. Okay, we're talking about Korra Obidi. I don't like using the baby's pictures, but because they're adults, they've made certain choices. So, and they put themselves out. Um, the only purpose of me doing this is because I feel like you can relate and you can extract some real life lessons from this situation. Okay, all right. Outside of the fact that this is business as well, right? All right. So what happened was that some weeks back, I don't know, 5 weeks ago, right? Um, this man, let me find this picture for you. All right, let's find a better picture for you. Right, this guy right here. This is a better scene that I can show. Right, this guy right here decided to come out on social media and put his wife on blast. Okay, he recorded her asking, "Say it again, say it again." He kept saying, "Say it again," and the chick Korra Obidi, who is a dancer, she kept saying, "Oh, so that's what you're doing," something like that. Paraphrasing a little bit here, right? Right, and I can relate to an extent. Okay, I haven't ever put my wife out there like that on social media, right? But in terms of the argument, how it went down, right? I could relate where you feel like a woman is just she always has her way. You're trying to speak, you're trying to tell her something, but she's not receiving it, right? I hold myself accountable for a lot of how those things played out because it was a romantic relationship. In other words, it wasn't a business relationship. It wasn't a situation where um, quote unquote partnership. No. In the society we live in, I'm still considered the leader by most human beings. Never mind you and I's opinion, right? The society we live in, I'm still considered the leader. As a matter of fact, I would love to be the leader. In fact, I pride myself in being a leader, right? So I didn't have the luxury of pointing fingers at her, even when she was acting out of order as an adult. Yes, it's still a romantic relationship that I subscribed to. And I always had the choice of walking away if she just happened to be an evil person. Because some people really paint this picture of the trauma that and the troubles that men goes through. They paint it like she's just evil, and women do the same thing. He's just evil, right? And anyway, this guy came out and painted his wife. We just had a brand new baby. It was a 1 week old or 2 weeks old, something like that at the time, and painted her as evil, right? Now, myself, know where I'm coming from and having some experience, I could see through all the BS. Okay, I can see through all of it. Listen, you may say, but you don't know them. Listen, these things are predictable. Okay, just listen to me clearly. All I want you to do is subscribe to this channel, and you will see the same patterns start to play out over and over and over and over again. Now, the way the stories are being told can be different from people to people, from relationship to relationship, and yes, from lives to lives, right? However, as much as we have differences, we have so much patterns. We have so many patterns, similarities, and that's what makes us an ecosystem, a socialized social ecosystem, social beings, emotional beings. There are absolutely behaviors that you can find in me that you will find in another person, and if you pay enough attention and stop paying so much attention to how different we are. Yes, we are different. We are unique, but you're paying too much attention to that. We also have so much in common. You keep seeing the same story over and over. You see divorces all over the place, but you keep telling yourself every relationship is different. Bullshit. We have patterns that you can learn from. Doesn't mean you will need to apply it in a unique way to your own personal story. When it comes to application, it will be unique. But in terms of the actual lessons that I'll be extracting out here, same shit. Okay? In the same society is the same thing. Yes, there are some exceptions. I said that, right? There are some men that just want to be the beta. They want to take care of the babies, clean. They want to go to work 40, 60 hours a week, right? There are some men like that. I don't know any of them. I know for a fact from experience that there are some like that. Just because I know there's always exceptions to the rule. So I don't make absolutes either. But I know for a fact that there's a high chance, extremely 95% high chance that you're a woman who would like to be in a position where you feel comfortable, feel safe enough to submit and rest in your femininity, right? But maybe you haven't found yourself, you don't feel that comfortable, you don't feel safe to do that, right? That's not your reality, right? So you find yourself saying things like, oh yeah, women need respect to. Ain't nobody discounting that. I'm not discounting that at all. I'm just saying you don't come out of the womb asking for respect. That's not how it works. You usually just want to feel loved, right? Once you get some wisdom, you start to get a little bit wiser, and you're growing up, right? You watch those movies, and you just wanted to be in the arms of a man who you can trust, though, right? So you want to feel loved. You want the type of affection you see in the Nollywood and Hollywood movies. That's what you would like to see. But then as you continue to go through experiences in life, you start like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I need some respect. But it's a product of the experiences you're going through. It's not natural. On the flip side, now it's part of socialization, by the way. It's not exactly all the way natural, but there's a certain aspect of biology that makes it that way, right? On the flip side, men, they want to feel like the hero, right? They want to feel like they conquered, and they no matter how much they cap, they enjoy the validation of a woman falling in love and feeling safe in their arms. They all capping too. We let me say, we as men, we cap too, right? Oh yeah, I want to feel loved too. Like, honestly, if feel like you respect me, I already feel like you love me, right? It's a natural thing. If I feel like you look up to me as your man, if I feel like you can trust me, trust like I can protect and provide for you, that makes you feel so good. If you never say I love you to me, as an average man, I may be okay, right? It's different, is the point. The way we're socialized because of the society we live in is different from one gender to the other. And when you swim against this trend, you better know what the fuck you're doing, because it can hurt you. It can hurt you, your family. It can hurt you. It can hurt everything you care about, either as a man or a woman. So I'm not saying don't swim against what we already know as what it is. I'm just saying you better know what you're doing. You better know what you're doing. And this couple are an example of people that swam against. Is that the past tense? I'm not sure. But anyway, they were swimming against the trend. She just almost seemed like she was driving the relationship until this guy gave up. He was a weak man, from what I can see. He was just a weak man. He was just a man who thought it was okay. Let me have my wife lead. That's what it looks like on the outside. But again, everything that's been coming out on the scene so far, in some of the updates I'm going to share with you, has been proving that to be the truth, right? We have stories coming out like things like, oh, his mother didn't, or something, his mother didn't really like her. Outside of racism, which is a real thing, I could see that. It's not just white, biracial relationship that experience this. Even in the same state in Nigeria, right, or anywhere in the world, you have people, well, if you don't come up like a if you don't show up like a strong masculine man, your mother is going to try to help you, right? And that only creates more chaos, right? So what am I saying here? We have some updates here. That's basically the story. He put out his family. Since then, she's also come out. Now today, she's moving out of the house. The guy is asking her to move out of the house with two children, right? He's fighting for custody battle and all that kind of stuff. He continues to show his ass on on the internet, right? So I just wanted to catch up with you and show some of the updates here. Shout out to Instablog Nigeria. They keep covering this. I'm just extracting the lessons, right? So this headline here is marriage crash saga. Dancer Obidi's. Now, one of the things is that a lot of people that follow them really thought they were, let me say it like this, they thought they were the model, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. You felt like, hey, this couple, I would like to have that, I would like to have that. But the problem with that, a lot of people that were saying I would like to have that were liking the progressive nature of their marriage. You have to be careful with toxic progressive attitude about life. Everything needs a balance, right? So things like, it's okay to show my family to the world. The same mistake that Will Smith and Jada Pinkett made. The same mistake. There's tons of weirdos on the internet that would just basically uh, enjoy dragging you and your family in a negative way on the internet. Don't do that to yourself. It's all entertainment for them. They don't care. And I think I said that, you know, it's kind of sad that people fall for this all the time. See, and I understand it, because when you're going through such a deep emotional turmoil, you're looking for some level of attention. You also want to feel validated. Your need for validation goes through the roof. So you start putting out your story, or if you're a celebrity that is into that progressive nonsense, right? There's nothing wrong with progressive. In certain aspects of life, I'm progressive as well. I think there's a balance that's needed. I think if you're stuck in conservatism too, I think you're just the same. You're full of shit too, because life is moving, right? So you really can't afford to be stuck in conservatism too. Everything got to be conservative. If you're extreme like that, you're not able to listen to where other human beings are coming from. And if you're not a good listener, you cannot be a good leader. Because what the hell are you leading? You don't even know what you're leading because you don't listen, right? But anyway, so Dancer Obidi's associate released fresh evidence against her ex-husband as they battle each other for child support. So basically, this guy didn't know it was being recorded. He's always come out and manipulated everybody to to make them feel like, oh yeah, she cheated on me, she did this, she did that. And I could see through the bullshit from day one, right? And then he came out and said, no, she only cheated in the beginning of the relationship, which means she probably didn't feel safe yet. She probably didn't feel like they were exclusive yet. She was having conversation with other men. But when he first blew out the news, everybody thought it was a present situation, like she was cheating presently. There were even people on Clubhouse that were saying, "Yeah, I know her. She was cheating." But then he came out himself later and said, no, she's not presently cheating, but she cheated in the beginning of the relationship." What does that make you look like, Justin? I'm asking for someone. What does that make him look like? It makes you look like a punk. If she cheated on you and you stayed in there, right? It's kind of like how Will Smith is being dragged right now. If you let it go, if you already let it go in the past, you need to leave it in the past. There's no need for no stupid red table talk. There's no need to turn on the camera and start telling strangers about your business. There is zero need for that. Men and women make this mistake. Stop turning on the camera when you feel like you're not happy in your relationship. Instead, go take a shower, relax, watch your favorite TV show, sleep over it. Tomorrow, if you still feel the way you feel, talk to a pastor, talk to a counselor, talk to a licensed counselor. If it's that bad, right? Talk to professionals, talk to people that seem like they have the results you're looking for. Very important. Don't talk to randoms, random single divorced people that are very toxic on the internet. Yes, I said it. Be careful with those people. It's only natural that they're speaking from a place of pain, especially if they haven't taken the time to heal. Many of them haven't. You got to be careful who you're taking counsel from. Seek good counsel, is what the scripture says, right? If you're a believer, it's true for every one of us. Make sure there's such a thing as good counsel, and most counsels are terrible counsels. Okay, so even right now, what I'm saying right now is not counsel. You need to seek an individualized counsel for yourself. Go take a shower, sleep over it. By tomorrow, you still feel the same way, because there's a good chance that your feeling yesterday was temporary. Feelings are temporary. Okay, very important. Count. You know what? Tomorrow is too hard. Count down 30 seconds, and then you start to feel like you're feeling a little bit differently. Very, very important. All right. So anyway, so this guy put himself out there, and then he started backpedaling. And so now we can't trust you. The same way you were backpedaling in that story, there's a good chance that you're not consistent in the relationship, in the marriage. You were not consistent in the relationship, in the marriage. And if you're not a consistent man, it becomes extremely hard for a typical woman to trust your masculine core. It's not a decision. They don't get to decide that. It's a natural cause and effect thing. They Trust is not something that you build like directly. It's something that is more so uh it's an effect of how you move. Trust is a product of consistency over time, right? People see you keep showing up in the same manner, they trust. That's where trust comes from. So when people say, "Oh yeah, once you lose trust, you can't get it back," that's bullshit. Once you lose respect, you can't get it back. That's bullshit. All you have to do is start where you are and start being consistent. That's it. That's how you gain trust and respect back. And most women, yes, fuck facts. Most women naturally wants to submit, not naturally submit. Bullshit. Okay. Yes, it's conditional. Okay, it's a response to how you show up in a relationship. It's a response to how consistent you are. It's a response to how much of a leader, how good of a leader within the context of a romantic relationship you are. Okay, within the context of a romantic relationship, you got to be careful when you use the word partnership. Of course, it's a partnership. That's irrelevant to what we're talking about. There's a need for a structure, there's a need for leadership, not only on the macro level, but also within certain respects. Like, for example, she leads in the kitchen. You learn how to move. She doesn't like how things move a certain way, right? That's leadership. On the macro level, you need a leadership too. And everything fails. Who does that fall on? Who does the onus fall on when everything else fails? It needs to be the man for most human beings in 2022, because you are operating not your own rules, you're operating within a certain socialized context. And if you want to swim against that, again, you better know what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. It's okay to decide to swim against that, but you better know what you're doing. That's all I'm saying, right? If you want to swim against how things happen, how things actually happen in reality, you know what you're doing. Now you can, you can you maybe get away with not facing reality, but you can't get away from the consequences of not facing reality. You can't. All right. So this gentleman put his whole family out there, and then basically lied against the girl off of his own words. Okay. He said she cheated on me. The first video. The second video said no, she didn't cheat on me. She cheated on me earlier on in the relationship. That's what he said with his own mouth. Okay. But anyway, um, so here's a video. Let's see. Breaks down in tears. Okay, she was crying. So I asked this question: who is the manipulator? I asked the question: who is the manipulator? Because both of them were found. There were videos. You can watch the other videos of them crying on the internet. Right. Both of them are basically suckers for the internet. They they feel like the internet is going to listen to them. They count on the internet. But like I said, there's a lot of weirdos on the internet. Don't be a Will Smith. Don't do red table talk nonsense. Stop that. Okay. Um, your family is something extremely holy, right? Uh, something it your family, your marriage needs its own sanctity, right? You need to treat it like it's a freaking church, like a pulpit, right? Like a reverend. Like you need to hold it in. It doesn't matter what you're going through right now. You need to hold it in the utmost, the word I'm looking for, you know what I'm talking about, right? Not respect, in reverence. Okay. If you don't do that, your family, especially in this atmosphere where everyone is encouraging people to leave their family, every every time you experience a little bit of a pushback or a little crisis or you don't feel right, the next thing you start to think about is maybe I should exit this marriage. It's only natural because you're hearing too much negative news about women, about men. Men are scum. This women are for the street. You're hearing too much of that. You keep hearing those kind of things. It's only you're human like the rest of us. Stop putting yourself on a pedestal. You're going to naturally gravitate in the direction of maybe she's been watching too much Housewives of Lagos. Then you find yourself in terrible situation, right? All right, so let me go back a little bit here. There was an update. Okay, there was an update. Let me see. I think there's a video here. All right, let me just make sure that the audio. Okay, I think we're good. Shout out to Instablog Nigeria. She found a place. She's moving. So so apparently the guy asked her to move out, right? And there was a lady that I saw her video. I would like to give her a shout out right now, but I saw her video, and she said this. Let me have this to the stream.
Or is it better operation? I just want to ask, is it how it's being done? Is it fair on Korra Obidi moving out with two kids? Or is it better for Justin Dean to actually go and find another apartment? He is just one, and Korra Obidi.
So she's asking, is it fair? Is it fair for him to ask her to move out, or is it better? Right? Those are two different things, by the way. Fair is not a language. It's a language you should absolutely avoid when it comes to a romantic relationship. Because at any one given point in time, there's a good chance somebody is feeling like something is not fair. But it's a feeling, right? You see the problem there? It's a feeling. And feelings are not accurate version of reality, right? And when it comes to marriage, you need a good balance between feelings and reality. You need a good balance. Feelings is just as real as reality. Feelings, perceptions are real just as much as reality because it drives how people behave. So you need to pay attention to that as well. But you also need to pay attention to the reality. Reality is that when you're in a romantic relationship, it's like war, right? No, it's not like war, but there's a saying that says in love and war, all is fair. So you really don't, you want to avoid the outlook of is it fair? There's a good chance there's somebody that will say, yeah, that's fair. And there's another person that will say, no, that's not fair. It's basically like, so it's not part of the reality. The reality is that there's no such thing as trying to play fair in romantic relationship. All is fair. You just have to look at what is good for you. Make sure you're not pouring from an empty cup. Make sure you're taking care of yourself so you can have enough love in yourself to pour into the other partner. But you go into a relationship to give, period, not give and take. I know you've never heard that before. Give and take as a mindset put the odds against your relationship, because the idea of, from a mindset standpoint, you want to take, you want to take, you want to take. If you engage with a person who just have the attitude of taking all the time and they don't realize they should be giving, you're going to feel drained. Let me flip it, right? Let's say you're the taker. Some of us are the taker. Let's take the cap off right now, right? You tend to be the taker, at least maybe not in your opinion, in the opinion of your partner, right? So if they start to feel like you're taking, 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 they will feel drained, they will feel choked, smothered. You'll smother the relationship to death eventually. So as your leverage point, right? As long as you make sure you're giving enough to yourself. Okay, this is the pushback usually, right? So at what point do you stop giving if you feel like you're giving too much? At the point where you feel like you haven't given enough to yourself, you stop giving. But you should stay focused on giving, right? Giving, giving, giving. Or you feel like you feel drained, you're feeling drained, you feel like the other person is not appreciating you, start giving to yourself. Buy yourself something nice. Take care of yourself. Say, excuse me, I need to take care of myself. Don't wait until too late. All right. So the whole idea of fair or not fair is not relevant. Better, yes, we can speak about better, and that's what we're talking about right now. Is it better for him as a man to really leave the house for his own children and his still wife, yes, ex-wife, which is continue for the rest of his life, either he realizes or not, will continue to be a part of him, right? Go read Ephesians 5:28. Will continue to be a part of him. His children are involved. She's still very much, Korra is still very much a part of him for the rest of his life. And for as long as he continues to deny that, thinking he can escape with a divorce paper, that's just paper, right? The only thing that would do for him is protect him from a financial standpoint, from not having to be there physically, right? But he doesn't really protect anything else. He doesn't protect his emotions. The only thing that can protect his emotions is for him to protect the family emotions, also the family emotional dynamics. That's the only source of peace for him. For as long as he continues to be in denial about that, he will continue to suffer. It's not a curse. It's just the way these things work out, because they continue to be a big and trigger part of who he is as a person. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, speaking of what's better, what's not better, you know, uh, is it better for him? Yes, because again, it's like taking care of himself. The nice, not gentleman thing, forget nice. The right, not right, forget right and wrong. The wisest thing for him to do, if he really feel, let's assume that he's accurate, that this girl was abusing him. The wisest thing for him to do is to take care of himself, because that's an indication that he hasn't been taking care of himself. How do you take care of yourself? Say, babe, we're not in a good place. I'm gonna have to excuse you. You can hold on to the house for now. We'll sort that out with time. Let me go over to my friend's house. I'll hang out over there if you need me for anything. Uh, it's easier said than done. Let me acknowledge that. But that's the level where he needs to be at. Okay? For as long as he continues to feel, the word fair. It's not fair that she did that to me. It's not fair that she's been doing this. She's been abusive. As long as he's looking at things from that standpoint, the suffering will continue. Because romantic relationship, everything is fair. Because unless there's a gun to your head to stay in the relationship, right? Everything is fair. You always have the choice. How do I know? Because that's why there's a family court. In the family court, they're not gonna call it criminal, not unless somebody lays hands on you, right? It's not criminal. I'm sorry, it's just not, because you subscribe to be in that relationship. You feel what I'm saying? So it's very important to avoid the word fair when you're dealing with romantic relationship, at least from a mindset standpoint. Once you end up in a divorce court, of course. By the way, all odds are against you as a man. Okay, you're basically fucked if you end up in a divorce court, right? In most places, because socialization still wins, even against what is written down in the laws, right? Because it's still at the discretion of a judge. And God help you, you fall in the hands of a woman judge. That's why I keep saying this. Don't wait until you get into that position. Don't wait until you get into a position that you're now about to give it. Don't wait until you become a Will Smith and going on a stage to smack another man. Don't do that. Take care of yourself right now. Sometimes the excuse say, babe, I need to take it right. I need to take it right. Stop engaging in toxic argument with your woman. Avoid arguments with women. You can't win. You will lose 100% of the time. It may look like you're winning right now in this present. I guarantee you you're losing. Mid to long term, it will show. And I will continue to bring you case studies like this. Okay? You will lose. So how do I know that he was arguing? Because he put out a video of him arguing with his wife. I didn't make that up, right? He put out the video. That was him. He put out that video, right? So this guy is basically just made a bunch of mess of his family, and that doesn't mean he didn't need a divorce. He could have wanted a divorce, and he can still divorce in a way. The people do that all the time, and you can divorce in a way that's amicable. You can keep the family sacred. The word I was looking for earlier is that family and marriage has to remain sacred. If you find yourself in a position where you're about to drag your family through the mud because of how you're feeling in the moment, stop. Count down 30 seconds. Take a shower. Go and sleep over it. Okay. After 24 hours, if you still feel the same way, seek good counsel. Stay away from all cameras, especially the ones that look like phones. Disconnect from the internet if you need to do that. People on the internet don't give a shit. They are weirdos. Not you, of course, right? Not my viewers, right? They're weirdos. They will connect their pain with yours. Something will hit a nerve. They will drag your story like the way they're dragging Will Smith and his wife right now through their own bullshit that they never healed from. And it will get worse for you for every time you read comments. It just gets worse. It's like a vicious cycle. It just gets worse, right? That's why I said right now, if you feel terrible, stop. Take a shower. Drink some water. Go take a nap. Sleep over it overnight. It's extremely easier said than done. Why? Because it's highly rewarding. Anything that's highly rewarding is easier said than done. Anything that's highly rewarding, anything that's worthwhile in life takes time and patience, not masculine energy. It takes time and patience, which is a product of masculine core. If you have an accurate masculine core, if you're not fooling yourself as an alpha, right? Does that make sense? So anyway, let me go back and share some of the recent right here. So she got back on the internet. She continued. This is what she did before the guy decided to put her on blast. I'm not knocking her for this, especially she makes money from this. Most toxic men on the internet will continue to knock her for dancing on the internet. Well, it was his choice to choose a woman like this. It goes back to you as the leader. It goes back to him. Right? So let's see here. This was an update. This is an update, right? Hello, I'm a friend of Korra Obidi. Everyone is a friend of Korra Obidi. They're all been most of them have been full of shit, by the way, but there's a lot of element of truth in what they're saying, right? Because again, the reason why they're full of shit is because I say all of us are full of shit, right? Because again, how we interpret things is a reflection of just how we feel, our outlook on life. That's all. There's no absolute truth anywhere. The only thing that tells us absolute truth is time, aka patience, right? Results. That's the only closest thing to it. Results, even results, sometimes is something we interpret as result is short term. How many results have you seen in life that's short term lived? Somebody became a millionaire yesterday, and tomorrow they're broke. No condition is permanent. The only thing that's undefeated when it comes to truth is time, not human beings. Every time somebody tells you, I'm just telling the truth, they're full of shit. Usually, I don't care if it's a pastor, they're usually full of shit. Okay? Be careful. Be careful. Be careful out there. Okay? So, even myself, anything I say, make sure you process it. Process it before you turn it to any kind of gospel truth. Like I said, there's no such thing. Only time will tell, right? Hello, I'm a friend of Korra Obidi. She has been silent because of our kids. But the narrative that her husband has been putting out is cruel and very unique. That sounds like somebody that's taking sides. You're not really in that relationship. You don't really know, right? So I'm calling him out because as a man, he's not showing leadership. He's not. Okay. And I know he's crying for that, right? So he's not showing traits of leadership at all, right? That's all. I'm not calling him cruel and I'm not calling him a cruel. And here goes the buzzword, true, right? That's the trigger word right there, true, right? Please, by the way, if you're watching, make sure you give it a thumbs up before you leave. If you're going to leave at all, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Thank you. All right. He's not who he claims to be. I witnessed everything that happened hours before he went live on Facebook. Justin is doing all of this for fame. Well, he's been filming himself on the internet, carrying the babies and all this kind of stuff. And to me, I can see through the bullshit, right? He's swimming against the trend. For most, for most people, not all, it's pretty natural for the woman to nurture and take care of the baby and be carrying them. So if you're trying to show us all those videos on the internet because you want to present in the court, all of us as human beings, we are spirits. We have incredible radar for bullshit. The judges that you're going to present that to, they will be able to see through that. And God help you that she happens to be a feminazi, then you're fucked. Right? So he's not helping himself by showing all those things that are not real, even in his own words. Let me play a video for you really quickly. There's a video of him here.
Korra and I, which we are definitely not getting back together, my choice. I wish.
So he keeps saying, he keeps reminding everybody we're not getting back together. My choice. That tells me that you're very particular about making sure that the world knows that it was you that checked out of the marriage. I don't know why you feel or how any man would feel like this is a thing of pride. See, anytime they tell me that 80% of divorces are initiated by women, it doesn't faze me. This is something to be expected. It's just how it works, right? But the 80% initiation of divorce is not the beginning of the downfall of the marriage. There's a lot of things that happen before that men, generally, we don't pay attention to. We're complacent. We're oblivious to a lot of the times that women are they're already checking out emotionally. I know that from experience. Maybe I'm projecting, whatever, right? But I've seen enough case studies that this is consistent. Are there exceptions? Yes. I'm talking about the rule, right? We just put our feet up and we relax. We become oblivious to a lot of the emotional dynamics of the relationship. Because where's she going? She's at the wall anyway. She's not gonna find another husband. And then you receive the rude awakening all the time that they're able to secure another man. Sometimes younger. Shout out to Will Smith and August Asina, right? Sometimes, right? You can read Will Smith's story. Reason why I like Will Smith is because he's been extremely transparent, but too transparent, too fucking transparent. It's not necessary, and that's the demon that they have to deal with right now. People are calling Jezebel is bullshit. It's bullshit, religious bullshit. They're just like any other family. This time they were too transparent. Okay, there's a good chance that your grandmother's third child is for another man. She cheated with somebody, or she brought like 50 children to marry your grandfather. You will never know the true story of what happened there because there was no internet. Stop the cap. Okay? So again, if you're going to extract these lessons, let's be guarded on how we extract these lessons. The real lesson in all of this is that this guy, Justin, he's not seeking help. He's not seeking proper help. He's seeking help from internet weirdos. He's getting this advice from internet weirdos and he's enjoying it. That's why he keeps coming back to the internet with him carrying the baby and trying to showcase that he's a good father. If we know anything about life, if you know anything about life, being a good father doesn't make you a good husband. Actually, let me say it better. Being a good father on the internet doesn't make you an actual good father, right? So who is he fooling exactly? Again, this doesn't help him. It's going to get worse for him if he's not careful, right? So
For the best. I don't want anything bad to happen to her.
So he keeps pointing out that she was the devil of the situation, But watch this. Watch this right here.
First time in a long time, I feel like myself. A little bit like myself. So I have my 1 month old with him. I'm a little bit, frazzled, but it's okay. Yes, Justin is good. It will. Justin is a good daddy. So
She said, what I wanted to extract out of that is that she said Justin is a good daddy. How come we're not hearing Justin saying Korra is a good mommy? Maybe he has. But again, I've seen enough to know that he's just looking for every way to paint this woman extremely worse than it already looks, right? I'm reading between the lines. I could be wrong. I'm just reading between the lines. How come she's faster to get to that point where she can edify him for what he's good at before he gets to edify her for what she's good at? Let me advise you, if you are unsolicited advice, pardon me. If you have an ex-husband, ex-wife, pay attention to this. Make sure that you're paying more attention to things you can edify them about. I am sure there are things you can destroy their character about. I am absolutely sure about that. Trust me, I know. Okay. But it's not in your best, it's not in your best interest to focus on the things that you can destroy their character about. It's not. In the grand scheme of things, maybe you're going to win the custody, maybe you're going to win some alimony. I don't know. But in the long run, you're going to suffer. It's going to come back and bite you so bad. Now, here's going to be the sad part. 20, 30 years from now, when you start to regret it, all these weirdos on the internet are not going to be there to hear you out. You'll be the one suffering it by yourself. So, what am I suggesting? What I'm suggesting is that do the homework. It's easier said than done. Do the work of finding things you can edify about them. It's actually not that hard for Korra, obviously. He's a good dad. Maybe he's not a good husband. Stop saying he's not a good husband. We already know you're divorcing. We already know that, right? How about you pay more attention to talking about how he's a good dad? That's going to create multiple effects. Okay. Number one, you maintain your own peace of mind from you, not by expecting other people to give you peace of mind. Number two, you're actually sowing seed into that person to like, wow, with everything I did to this person. Oh yeah, I'm asking you to take the high road. No, no, no. I'm not asking you to take the high road. I'm asking you to do things that's actually going to benefit you, something in your own best interest, especially your children's best interest in the long run. That's what I'm asking you to do, right? And stop paying so much attention to what is fair and what's not fair. It's unfair that your marriage has to be dragged to the mud, that you are by your own hands dragging your own marriage to the mud, right? Even after the marriage is over, people continue to drag their ex. This is not helping you in any way. You're losing your mind. You're losing your own mind because you're still seeking validation from something that's already collapsed. And that's the only thing I can see here that especially Justin is doing, continue to drag her through the mud. I'm not saying she hasn't done a fair share of that. I think she's done a better job. And that's sad. Anytime I see that a woman is doing a better job in showcasing leadership, that's always a sad. That tells me why the society is deteriorating so fast. Men are losing their mind and they're not ensuring that they're always on their leadership tip. Right? This is what he was doing.
On here.
This was one of the first videos. It came out, started crying to the internet. I'll leave that there while I talk. He's just whining like a bitch to the internet. That's all it is, right? This has nothing to do with biracial. People do this in regular relationship too, like same race relationship, right? Seeking attention from the internet, crying to the internet. Someone help me. She tried to took my child away. Listen, I'm not saying it's not a victim. I don't know that for a fact. But when you're playing the victim, it's impossible, literally equivalent, impossible to engage the power that you have left as a human being when you're playing the victim. being a victim and playing a victim are two different things. Being a victim is something we can clearly see. Sometimes you have to wait to the court before they make a verdict or whatever, right? But playing a victim is when you come to the internet, you're cleaning your eyes and doing stuff like that. And then in the same breath, they say men don't cry, but I'm crying. Dude, that's not the point. We say men don't cry. We say men should not cry when it comes down to your relationship with your woman. You look like a weak person, not even man. Okay? This is an example of what when we say don't cry. We're not talking about don't be vulnerable to a woman who is in love with you. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about this situation. You got into a brawl with your wife, the mother of your two kids, one brand new baby kid. And then you start to cry like a bitch to the rest of the world that really don't care. That's what we're talking about when we say don't cry. That's precisely what we mean by that. Right? That's the context. This is the context of what we're talking about. That men should not cry in front of their women. Not just their women, in front of the world when we're talking about you and your woman. Not on a consistent basis, at least. Not in this kind of situation, right? If she was that terrible, you should have been waiting for the court based on the evidence that you have from the past, not the evidence you're now creating, right? To tell the court that nah, she was a terrible mother, she was a terrible wife, she cheated on me. You present that to the court, and they'll probably let you go, and then you can have your peace of mind. But with I'm forced to look at things and say, yeah, it just looks like he's looking for sympathy or empathy online. I don't know which one, you know. That's what it looks like to me. But anyway, I want to go and do some quick shout out to those of you that left a comment on this video that went viral in the past few days. Let's go ahead and share that. I want to give a quick shout out and read some of your comments. This is a comment reaction session that I like to do to engage. This is the video that I did, and at first when I was watching the video, I was wondering like, why is this video going viral? What did I say? You know, and I saw a lot of people appreciating what I said, and I was like, oh, thank you. I appreciate that because trust me, I don't expect that everyone will agree with what I say, but it feels good. I'm not one of those people that cap. I'm not seeking validation, but validation feels damn good. Right? So, but thank you so much. And I want you to be a part of the family, the part of the community here. Again, like I said, please make sure that you're following the two channels, Man of Prestige Clips, which is this one, and the other one, which is Man of Prestige. Just subscribe to both channels and turn on the notification bell, right? So here are some of the comments that were coming in here. Ramona Cooper says, I really enjoyed your content. I be encouraged, sir. Thank you, Ramona. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Nita, I am most of the people that I'm reading your comment right now. There's a good chance you're not following the main channel. Please go and follow the main channel, right? Wherever you are. Thank you so much, right? And again, we're talking about this. I don't want to bash. I don't want to I call them a bitch. I'm sorry, you know. But I'm really just trying to extract the lessons out here. This is precisely what you don't want to be as a man. This is precisely what you don't want to be as you move into the future, Justin. It's okay that you've made mistakes. I've made mistakes too, right? But the whole point of this is that we know that life is such a beautiful thing that we have second, third, fourth, fifth chances. Some people are getting married the fifth time, although the more you get married, the less the chances to last. I'm sorry. That's the truth, right? That's the data. Anyway, so let's keep going here. You are so honest and speaking the truth throughout. Well, I'm just trying to speak how I see it. I just like I said, no one has the monopoly of truth, only time, right? So we can tell over time and see. But I appreciate you, Nita. Lydia says, I don't like to judge, but I feel he is very irresponsible, right? Me either, right? How do you leave your wife with a baby that's barely a week old and a toddler? How bad were things in the marriage when they were smooching on camera, right? Well, people show the highlights on the internet. That's just a fact of life, including me and my wife. Now, I'm in a very happy marriage, right? I'm happily married. However, if you see me post a picture online, you can check us out at Lola and Ola on Instagram as well. That's a highlight. That's just a fact. Okay. Now I enjoy my marriage a lot. Like we could go straight 3 months and no single anything close to disagreement. We don't argue. We used to argue in a very toxic way. It never helped. We don't argue because we both are actively listening, but I try to make it a point that I'm leading that. It's actually almost impossible that two people are leading a healthy form of disagreement. It's impossible. Stop listening to people that say both of you should be healthily learn how to. Is people are caught up in emotions, so there's gonna be at least one person that's not able to lead. Are you able to carry that cross in that moment in time? This is the real test, right? But anyway, you're right. She gave birth, right? Very selfish man. And no matter how difficult, it's just a guy that's weak right now. It's not anything that he's doing deliberately. When you get caught up in your emotions and you feel you go weak, And I'm not speaking for him. I'm just saying, for the most part, people are good people who do bad things, not the other way around, right? So, and it's very important that you keep that mindset when you're dealing with your relationship because once you start like him, once you start to feel like the other person deliberately want to hurt you, you will basically, hurt people, hurt people. You will basically use your own hands to destroy things further, and this person is still going to be in your life for the rest of your life. So you're not helping matters, right? No matter how difficult things were, he should have stayed and supported, not necessarily stayed, because we don't know what she was doing to him. but at least not come out and make a mess of the whole thing, right? Through this difficult first few months at least. What do I know? Me too, right? What do I know? I'm with you, my sister, right? Let's see here. Oh, looks like there may be every parent gonna advise their child if they see the child is unhappy. Yes, yes. But the way I say it is that women are territorial. I said that in the video, right? And if they feel like you don't have masculine core and they don't trust your leadership skills, they will come into your family and try to help you. You know what that looks like to your wife or your husband? Terrible. Like bad. Like it's going to potentially destroy your family. You have to make sure that you're actively engaged in nurturing your relationships from an emotional standpoint. If you're discounting emotions, you will hurt yourself and your family. Emotions are part of logic. If you're talking about logic and you're discounting emotions, you're full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. It's the biggest variable in any kind of logical calculation you want to make. So pay attention. Pay attention, at least from the standpoint of the other person. They are emotional. Oh, let's just call you God. You're never emotional. There's a good chance they're emotional, right? So you can't afford to discount the effect of emotions on the results you're creating. You got to pay attention. All right, let's keep going. His mother has nothing to do with it. Anyone can see this man is not happy. He made it clear all his reasons why. All, he was listen. He can run his mouth all he wants. I'm reading between the lines. I'm watching his actions more so than his words. So no, he did not make it clear. As a matter of fact, all of us are unable. We're incapable of making things clear when we're caught up in our emotions, because we're human beings. Stop putting yourselves on a pedestal. You will fall off flat on your face all the time, 100% of the time, because you're human. So no, there's nothing he made clear. His actions made it clear that he's a man who lacks leadership skills by the very first action coming on the internet to tell the whole world about his issues as opposed to going to seek good counsel. Just all we can see. That's what we can see, right? He said he don't want to be with her. Let the man find the right person. And Korra, that's one of those progressive talks right there. I can feel it. I feel you. I'm progressive too, to a certain extent. Let's be guarded before you let the devil come and take over your life, right? And Korra needs to heal and move on. Yeah, it's easy to say, right? It's easy to say things like this, especially when you're not in a relationship that you're happy about, or especially if you've had terrible experiences in the past. Now, there are exceptions to the rule. You may be in a happy marriage, but you're not in a place where you're able to understand these things from an emotional standpoint. So, no, it's not that simple to tell people to just move on. It's obviously not that simple. That's why they're crying out to the wrong people, right? I will not chase a man that don't want me. Yeah, it's easy to say until you face rejection. Okay? Obsession, rejection breeds obsession. That's 100% true for all of us. 100% true for all of us. You're rejected, you're obsessed with something. Sometimes maybe you tell yourself, like, not with the person at least, right? But you're gonna get obsessed over something in order to get through that. Rejection is not easy to get through. It's only easy for people that are not in relationship to say these kind of things, or people that have gone through terrible situation. Empathy is required when you're talking about romantic relationships or emotional type of relationship, which a lot of business relationships are emotional in nature, right? All right. You saw that with Will Smith, right? That was supposed to be a business scene, right? Scenery, right? And he went up there and bitch slapped another man because he got caught up in his emotions. That's a man that's been walking a straight line for 30 years. Get yourself up off that pedestal before you fall flat on your face. Humble yourself, position yourself so that you don't become another person like I die known, right? All right, good. I will not chase a man that want me. Yeah, nobody wants to do that, right? But we find ourselves doing things like that when you have vested interest, especially emotional, right? You're not wrong. It's just that you're speaking from a very there's no empathy, right? All right, but thank you nonetheless for your comment. Let me make sure I'm hitting this all this thumbnails, right? You're the epithet of a strong man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm humbled. And please don't do that to me. I'm just another man. I've had some experience, so I can speak to some of these things, right? You cannot know what happens behind closed doors. That's a fact. We can only see what we're seeing. Oh, I actually said that already, right? You is so true. This boy blasted his wife on social media. It was him who put it out there because he know she just had a baby and she's alone. He's not real. Let him go. Yes, but like I said, letting him go is going to be a process for Korra. That's not something very simple to do. Nonetheless, it's probably when somebody rejects you, the wise thing to do is to give them the freedom that they're looking for. Don't try to give them the opposite of what they're looking for, which is begging and helping them say, I don't care if you're a man or woman. If they want to go, say, I understand. Let me know if you change your mind. Right? And that does something to the mind instantly. It actually showcases that you are changing. Because even if you had to apologize, change behavior is the most effective form of apology. Running your mouth and telling stories why they should stay will work against you for the most part. No absolutes, right? All right, good. It's very true. There is a racism in this. And secondly, it's like a natural play for them to divorce whether they feel like doing it. Yeah. Because again, they have that force against them already. Racism is a real deal, right? It's a big deal, right? So if they have that force against them, yeah, everybody wants to give their opinion, but nobody wants know what goes on behind closed doors. That's a fact, right? So we're talking to you that you're watching me, not to Justin necessarily and Cora. I'm just pointing out the lessons that we can learn from this. But you're absolutely right that we don't know the details. She could have been hearing voices in her head in the middle of the night. He could have been hearing voices in the middle of his head, and she feels like she's about to. He feels like he's about to die if he doesn't leave this marriage. We don't know what kind of spiritual shit that's going on there, right? So you're right. Nonetheless, these lessons stand, right? And these opinions, they stand as well. Like I said, these are just my opinions. Take them with a pinch of salt, right? Instead of lashing out and being critical, pray for this family. No, actually, Roma, instead of you leaving a comment on the video, you're calling lashing out if that's what you're saying. Because I can't read your mind either, right? You should probably keep the comment because you're helping the video grow even faster. Just so you know. See, I keep telling you, we're all full of shit. Let's stop the old holier than thou thing. Get off the high horse. We're all the same thing. This is a business here, and we do talk about real life things, and we do try our best to impact in a positive manner. Stay with me, Roma. Stay with me, okay? All right. So, thank you nonetheless for the comment. Eleanor. I have a friend called Eleanor. Eleanor actually says, "Men of wisdom, keep up. I give you, thank you. I appreciate that. I am humbled. So true. Also, shouldn't go into looking at it with a biased mind. Yes, absolutely. Right? So you notice that I brought the smoke to both of them. If you watch my previous videos, this girl is still seeking for help on the internet. That's not going to help her. She needs to, whatever she was doing, maybe dancing, whatever. I'm not going to discourage her from doing that. That's what she does for a living. That's just stupid for any man to say. That's just stupid. Okay. For any man to even suggest if that's what she did before and she continues to do that. But if she comes out and she's crying, I think she should keep that to herself and try up. It's gonna be hard, but she needs to try her best to live, continue living life. Um, to do because she has to eat, she has to survive, right? And it looks like she's actually a breadwinner. I'm not too sure about that. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Is she the breadwinner in that family? Terrible. Anyway, thanks very much, bro, for the undiluted truth. God bless you. Well, I don't have monopoly of truth. I'm just speaking based on my experience. They have become a product of all bloggers. Everybody watch their mouth on their private affairs. Yes, unfortunately, including me, right? Private affairs as they are happier than them. Yeah, none of us, right? All of us, if you haven't gone through this kind of stuff, like disadvantage, like crisis, you will go, inevitable unless you live in a cave, which is worse, right? You will go through your own crisis. So let not anyone put themselves on a pedestal. Every single one of us. The best thing you can do is try to see the lessons, take some notes, and see how you can apply it to mitigate and help you ease the pain of when you go through your own crisis inevitably, right? All right. There's no perfect life for anyone. Don't let any bishop tell you that. Okay, good. All right. So that's so true. Everything you say is true. Thank you. This man did her dirty. He should have at least waited to try to make things work out for their kids. I don't know what you mean by waited, but at least compose and maintain his posture, right? As a man, be the leader, and so even if you want to leave the marriage, um, there you still have to be the leader. And a lot of people, the truth is that there's irony to that is that if you could, he wouldn't be needing a divorce. That's the irony, right? All right. Did know that Korra hasn't said anything bad about her husband. And Justin is all over social media downgrading her, downgrading himself. Let me be clear. Let me go to Ephesians. Let me be clear what I'm saying here. He's downgrading himself, right? This is not just for Christians. This is true in life. If you have experience, you know exactly what I am talking about, right? This is true in life. Let me see. 28. Even so, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. I'm adding context to that. Ex-wives. Even if you want to move on with another wife, it's in your best interest. This was an advice that Quincy Jones gave to Will Smith some over 30 years, like about 30 years ago. Like, dude, give her half the money. Just move on. You're going to be the biggest superstar in the world. You know what he did? He was hard-headed. He had a coconut head. He didn't listen to him. You know what he did? He lost. He still lost in more ways than just the court. Go read his book. Right? Even ex-wives. Guess what? He came back to taking care of the wife and just living his best life. Even in the midst of the whole drag that he's going through right now, Will Smith, let's not get it twisted. He's living his best life. All right. I'm just being honest with you. So there you have it right there. Let's go back to what we're doing here. Let's go back to the comments. So did no, yeah, social media downgrading himself. The new video, it was Justin raising abuse on her. All right, so the new video we're talking about here, I think it's important that we find that here. Watch this video. So in this video, he didn't know it was being recorded. Shout out to Instablog Niger. He didn't know it was being recorded. In this video, right? He's showing his true colors for the first time for a lot of people, right? Let's keep playing. Now he said something. Said if you listen, you will hear what I'm saying. Now some of you will say, "Hell, all he said is if you listen, you will hear what I'm saying." No, no, no. Watch his body language. Watch the way he's engaging with the mother of his kids. This is if you go marry this guy without him going through proper healing. This is exactly what it's going to do to you. I'm just letting you know. Patterns, they tend to stay the same. In order for you to change habits, you have to go through, I don't know what rules they have out there, 90 days, 10,000 hours, whatever. But it's not going to be an overnight, you just switch because there's a new girl. No, like maybe he fell in love initially to seem everything is fine, but trust me, Trust me. The patterns, the behavior, the personalities, the temperaments, they tend to stay the same. Okay. So he's trying to he's trying to stay calm. He's trying to like right, but there's something else going on here, right? It's basically a need to be right. That's all it is, right? Why is it being recorded? Let's keep watching. So I'm not getting the full details of what's going on here. What I see is an argument about filing divorce, why he took the kid, why she took the kid, and they're trying to file for. This is a custody battle already started in the living room. If you can't have a proper custody conversation in your living room, once you bring in the court, you think there's some people say just make sure you read the laws, you know what the laws say. Bullshit. It's at the discretion of the judge. The best thing is to try to make sure you don't find yourself in that position first. Okay. There are many people that do that successfully. They just don't end up on the internet. The loudest people on the internet are people that fail to do this. And then they end up in the court and then they come and tell you all the worst case scenario. Just pay attention. He said they will side with me, I guarantee you. So let's even assume he's right. Let's just assume for a second that he's absolutely right. You could win in the court, right? What about your sanity, your peace of mind, your children over later on in life, right? You think you can really handle this as a single parenthood? Sorry, single parent? You think you're gonna win because you won in the court? Now, this goes to most of you ladies, right? You think you're gonna win? You're going to suffer. Nothing good is gonna come out of winning in court. The only thing that's your maybe financially, right? Financially, I guess your properties are protected. But what about the actual thing that you came for came into that relationship with in the first place, right? Peace of mind, emotional stability, emotions, connections, love. What about those things? Those are the things that makes us feel fulfilled in life, right? Right? Validation, significance, right? Contribution to life, right? The six basic human needs, right? Love and connection. What about those things, right? Security, right? Variety, right? Uh, uh, um, yeah, you could Google it. Six basic human needs, emotional, right? What about those things? The court cannot give you those things. You can win financially, but the problem when people say finances are part of the reasons why marriage break up sometimes, that's false. That's just what people record. That's just the symptom. Why is it? What happened emotionally behind the scenes that we couldn't agree financially? No one. That's not recorded anywhere. That's not recorded anywhere because people tend to not be able to verbalize that. What they say, like, oh well, we broke up because we couldn't agree because she stole like $200,000 from my account, or vice versa. Let's keep in it. So this guy is fighting because he's fighting for I don't know finances right now, custody. He came out saying he was abused emotionally, but then he's fighting something else entirely different. He's solving the wrong problem. Now they're talking about. I heard restraining order. Kids are involved. Hmm. This nigga is another intellectual diarrhea moron, right? He's literally pulling out dictionary meanings to talk to his ex-wife. Oh, actually, they're still together. These are the things that causes divorce. You get in a position where you start to argue from an intellectual standpoint with your wife. You start to, or your husband. It could be you as a woman too, right? This is what it says. This is what it means. Have you checked the dictionary? You're wrong. I did the research myself. Sad. You're still going to end up with even worse pain because effectively you're creating resentments. That's not it. That's I'm not talking about like this is not the moment to go to the dictionary, by the way. You're creating resentments. Okay? Your partner, your partner for life is going to resent you. Potentially your children eventually will resent you or resent one of you too. If your child resents one of both of you, you suffer just as much, right? Yeah, that's a fact. If your child resents your partner, like your ex-wife or your ex-husband, you suffer just as much. At least the child suffers. You're not helping anything, right? Let's keep going. Mm. I promise you, I'm listening to this for the first time. Promise, okay? I don't have the time to listen ahead of time. I just don't, okay? But something told me that there's something we're about to discover. Everything I predicted. Listen, I'm not God, okay? But again, I've had experience. These things are predictable, okay? Now, this guy was supposed to be the, you know, another man that's been dragged through the mud of the court of law because the wife belonged to the streets, right? Now he's cursing in front of his children at the woman. She's supposed to be the cheater. He came backpedaled and said, no, she didn't cheat. No, she cheated earlier in our relationship, which is how long ago, right? I mean, if anyone called this guy names right now, do you understand why? Right? I'm not gonna call him name because I feel like the best of us have been in this position where we become emotionally weak because we didn't take care of ourselves. We were counting on the woman to bring the masculine core to the relationship in a society that's not designed that way. It's just not designed that way, right? Whatever you bring to the feminine energy is what it will receive, multiply, and reciprocate. Unless you're with the wrong woman, in which case that will still be your decision. You created that relationship, right? He's defying a narcissist to his ex. He's acting like a narcissist, but defining the narcissist. He forgets that the most powerful thing is this moment, not the story you're about to tell about what happened yesterday. How are you handling yourself right now? And then they started cursing. So he lost his cool. He's now pissed off. Who is to say he's not going to lay his hands on this woman? We don't know. We don't know. Any moment from that moment where he's that aggravated and he's angry, he can lay hands on anything or lay hands on anything that will basically fly over and hit the woman. That happens too because people get angry. You never want to be in this position ever as a man. Ever. Where you're that angry. If you're that angry, you need to take your keys and leave and come back later. For your own good. Why should I be the one taking the higher road? You're stupid. For your own good. Long term. It's okay to take a L short term so you can win long term. We're all emotional beings. Yeah. My kid being withheld from me. Bullshit. That's not the full story. That could be true. But that's not the full. Tell her the full story. I'm sure he's gonna tell the full story again. No, don't tell me the full story. Go find, go seek counsel. Don't tell the internet the full story. Stop it completely. Yeah, I'm not gonna go through this video. This is a video he's seeking sympathy from you, right? I have empathy for him because I understand. I can relate. I've been there where I felt weak. I felt powerless. I felt like everything was being removed from underneath me, right? I've been there. I know the feelings. But he's crying to the wrong people. But maybe we needed this. Maybe this is ordained by God so we can extract some of these lessons. I don't know, right? But this is public now, sadly, right? Many of you, how many people are watching this? Let me see. Many of you, how many likes on this right here? Many of you, 33,000 people that don't know me, reached out to me because my ex-wife to be is being negligent with the babies. Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense, right? Well, a garbage disposal was on the sink. There's a good chance that this wasn't a problem when you were there. Well, that is a problem always. It's a problem now as well. It's a problem. Yes, we can look at that and say she's being negligent. But let's not change the topic. We're talking about your family. That's kind of irrelevant right now. We're talking about your family. We're talking about you receiving advice from 33,000 strangers about your own family as a man. They all do that, right? So they things that were not a problem, they nitpick. You're nitpicking. No one is just gonna say this. Everybody's gonna say, "Yeah, but she's wrong. She should have. The baby almost got hurt." But can I give you this flash? This flash. We try our best to protect our babies, to take care of our babies, right? I've got a few of them here, right upstairs, and ultimately, there's hazards, right? We try to remove the hazards as much as we can, but when we're with the person, we're in the same, we're fighting the same battle, right? On the same team, right? Oh, babe, I got this. Oh, this baby could get hurt. That's how we handle that. We don't go on the internet to 30,000 plus people and say, oh yeah, the baby almost got hurt, I'm gonna go to the court. You see, I'm not saying she's right. What I'm saying is that in life, in a marriage, yes, sometimes there will be hazards, and all we can do is remove them as we catch them, and then we help each other to do that, right? We don't run to the internet to go report to 30,000 people that my wife or my husband is being negligent. That's not what we do. So we can see through the bullshit essentially, right? Hopefully you can see it too. They're both reckless. They're both reckless. Always remember that. Always remember this. And I want to round this up, right? Always remember this. When you get into a romantic relationship with a person, you're both at fault. That means fault, judgment, condemnation, right, wrong. All those things cancels out instantly. Okay? All those things have to be canceled out instantly if you want to build a healthy relationship. The moment you start engaging fault, yeah, this one is at fault, this is right and wrong, and if you engage things or you build things from that standpoint, you make the other person feel less. you're destroying the relationship. You're destroying at least 50% of the relationship effectively. Learn how to handle these things. Learn how to do these things because, again, like I said, you're not helping yourself. You're not helping yourself. You need to be aware of this. Every single one of you. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how long you've been in a marriage. Stop using right and wrong. You're wrong. You're right. Stop doing that. Okay. If she's wrong, you're wrong. Instead of calling her out to be wrong, fix whatever is wrong. How do you fix whatever is wrong if you don't worry about the 85% of the variables, which is emotions? Meaning, your honesty is bullshit if it's coming with brutal honesty. She's going to feel the brutality, not the honesty. He's going to feel the brutality, not the honesty. The feeling is going to overcharge your relationship. It will work against you. There are better ways to do things. And it's very simple. Have some empathy. This good person is doing the wrong thing. Let me help. Let me give. Oh, wait, let me slow down. I feel drained. Let me go give to myself. Let me take care of myself. That's how these things work. That's how these things work. Okay? It's very important that you pay attention to this. If you don't, you will hurt yourself. You will hurt your family. I will keep coming back. Please make sure you're following both channels. Subscribe, like, share it. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.